Hi, sixth graders. We're on lesson 11.3 and 11.4. So make sure you label the top of your page with area and circumference of circles. Make sure you have 11.3 and 11.4 as well. Our learning target is being able to find the area and circumference of circles and finding the diameter or radius given the area or circumference. So just to refresh our memories, the diameter is the length between the inside of one side of a circle to the other. So the diameter, this is the diameter, it's the whole length across. So the diameter of this circle is 23.56 centimeters. And then the radius is half of the distance. So the radius would be about from here to the one side of the circle. So we would take 23.56 and divide it by 2, and we would get 11.78 or 11 7/78 centimeters. On this circle, we are given the radius, so over here it's the diameter. Over here, we're given the radius. So the radius here is 4.56 inches. And then to get the diameter, we would multiply this by 2 because radius is half of the diameter. So 4.56 times 2 is 9.12 inches. So very important to remember, if you want to write this down, feel free. Diameter is all the way across, radius is half. So we can remember diameter is the same as 2 times the radius, and the radius, is the same as half of the diameter. So the circumference, you want to write this word in your notebook, is the distance around a circle. So it's kind of similar to perimeter, but instead it's the circumference, and we measure the distance around the circle. So the formula is C equals pi times diameter, or 2 times pi times radius, because remember 2 times the radius is the same as the diameter. So these are the same things, it's just if you're given the diameter or if you're given the radius. So write both of these down and circle them. C is circumference, D is diameter, R is radius. So if we're given these two circles, when we look at a circle and if we're finding the circumference, we want to ask ourselves if we're given the radius or the diameter, and then which formula would be easiest to use. So for this circle with 10 millimeters, we are given the radius, because the radius again is half of the circle. So I am going to plug in my 10 into this formula because this is the variable for radius. So I know that C equals 2 times, and for pi, we're going to use 3.14. 3.14 times 10. I know that 10 times 2 is 20, so I'm going to go 20 times 3.14, and C equals 62.8 millimeters. And we leave it, we don't square it, because since circumference is kind of like perimeter, it's just the units alone, not units squared or cubed or anything like that. This circle over here with the 3 centimeters, this is our diameter. We are given the diameter, so therefore this formula makes more sense to use. So C equals 3.14, If you want to use the pi on your calculator, that's fine. It's just going to be rounded a tad differently. 3.14 times 3, so the circumference is 9.42 centimeters. We always use the same units that were given. What is the distance around a circular garden if the diameter is 5 feet? So diameter, that means I'm going to use the formula C equals pi times D. So then I'm going to go C equals 3.14 times 5. So 5 times 3.14 equals 15.7 feet. Okay, I want you to solve this one on your own. How far would a horse travel around a circular racetrack if the radius is 10 meters? Pause me and solve this really fast. So because we're given the radius, we're going to use C equals 2 times pi times the radius. So C equals, right away I know in my head that we're going to go 2 times the radius, but I'll just write it in this order. 2 times 3.14 times 10 equals the same that we just did before. So 20 times 3.14, and we get 62.8 meters. Okay, so the circumference is around a circle. The area is inside of a circle, just like finding the area of parallelograms, triangles, and trapezoids. So this is your new formula to add. Area equals pi times radius squared. Pi r squared. So write area inside of a circle and then write the formula down. So for area, there's not two different formulas. This is the only formula, pi times radius squared. So you always have to use the radius. So in this circle, we're given our 5 inches. This is our radius because it's halfway through the circle. So we have pi times 5 squared. So this squared goes directly with the radius. So we need to always square that number first and then multiply it with pi. So A equals, I'm going to put in 3.14 times, so 5 squared is 25. Then I multiply times pi. If I do 3.14 times 5 and then square that number, we're going to get a different answer. So 3.14 times 25 equals 78.5 inches squared. Area is always squared, remember. A equals pi r squared again. This time we're given a diameter of 2 feet. So we have to find first, we have to find the radius. Remember, radius is half of the diameter, or 1/2 times d. 1/2 times 2 equals 1 foot then. So the area then is A equals 3.14 times 1 squared. 1 squared is just 1. 1 times 3.14 is 3.14. So A equals 3.14 feet squared. So it's basically pi in units as squared. Okay, so really quick to look at the difference between area and circumference. So if we're given this circle with a radius of 6 inches, I like to always label it so I know, and I remember this is my radius. So then what I would do, this is how I would solve this problem. I'm going to write my formula right above so I know exactly what I'm working with. I'm given my radius, and I have to plug in my radius right here. So now I do A equals 3.14 times radius squared, and I know that 6 is my radius, so I would put that in. 6 squared is 36 times 36, and then A equals 36 times 3.14 is 113.04 inches squared. Our circumference, C equals 2 times pi times radius. So I know that 2 times my radius, 2 times 6, is 12. So the circumference is 12 pi. And if I use 3.14 as pi, 12 times 3.14 equals 37.68 inches, and that's circumference. So I would like you to pause me and solve this, solve for the area and circumference of this circle. So we have area equals pi r squared. This is my diameter, so it tells me that my radius is 18 feet. So A equals, so I would go 3.14 times 18 squared. So 18 squared is 324, and then I multiply that times 3.14, and I get 1,017.36. This is area, so it's feet squared. Circumference, because I'm given the diameter, it's C equals pi times diameter. So then I would go C equals 3.14 times 36. So 36 times 3.14 equals, C equals 113.04 feet. If the area of a pi is 254.34 inches squared, what is the approximate radius? So again, we have A equals pi r squared. I'm given the area, so 254.34 equals, 3.14 times radius squared. So I know that if I divide both sides by 3.14, this would cancel out, so I would have r squared, so 254.34 divided by 3.14 equals 81. 81 equals r squared. I know off the top of my head that 9 squared, 9 times 9 equals 81. So my radius would be 9 inches. If the circumference of a wheel is 37.68 inches, find the diameter. So C equals pi times D, and then I can put in 37.68 equals 3.14 times diameter, and then I can divide both sides by 3.14 to get D alone. So 37.68 divided by 3.14 equals 12. So the diameter is 12 inches. Alrighty, make sure you log into NICU and take your 11.3, 11.4 NICU quiz, and have a super evening.